My name is Erik.
Hi, I'm Brandon Young. I'm from the Comet Skippers.
Hi, I'm Aaron Gal.
So you guys are a double Dutch team. You've worked with each other, I'm sure, a lot over this past year and over previous years. What do you guys think qualifies as a hard thing in jump rope?
The amount of commitment you have to put into your routines, because you start them way at the beginning of the season, and then you work at them for 2 to 3 days a week for the next 8 months. You have a lot of time, but the routines are never clean. You just have to really pour a lot of time into your routines. And that is a really hard part about jump rope, is to make space for it.
There's like certain sequences that will come up with the idea, and then you'll have to repeat it like 50 times before you get it, like adjusting it and working on it for almost an hour before you ever get it. And that's like some of the hardest parts of our routine are we had to work on it for consecutively in order to figure out all the issues with it before we could achieve that new thing.
I'd say it's one of the most physically demanding sports, if not the most out there. Like, it's a sport that uses pretty much every part of the body, whether it be like the legs, arms, or the core. In addition to that, it requires a ton of coordination and like relative flexibility with all the various body movements, splitting legs, restricted arms, or power inversion, those kinds of things.
What would you guys consider as one of the more difficult things you've ever done? And what do you feel like you learned from that?
The first time I taught foreign language speakers, which was like a surprise to me, it was at World Jump Ropes camp. Being able to teach people of other languages is really a skill that most people don't learn. And I got thrown in there quickly and had to learn how to do that. And you learn to show, and there's a bunch of other tricks, hand signals and stuff that you figure out, but didn't have to work with before.
When I was a younger member on the team, I was like a terribly shy and small boy. And I'm sure Brandon and Erik can attest to this, but I essentially had like one friend and barely talked to anyone. But like over the years with the sport and with the Comet Skippers, I learned to like communicate and collaborate with everyone, whether it just be socializing or like a bigger group event. And yeah, jump rope really taught me to, I guess, collaborate with others. And that's something I've had to overcome.
If you could go back, talk to that version of yourself who was just starting, what's maybe one thing that you'd want yourself to know?
I'd say don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of mostly what others think of you.
So what flaws do you feel like you needed to overcome to get to where you are today?
I just want to say that the stupidest ideas are usually the coolest ideas. And when I first joined the team, I had a lot of stupid ideas. Not all of them were cool ideas, but some of them may have been cool. But I was a lot shyer when I joined the team, and I'm a lot more outgoing now, but I mostly just kept to myself. And whenever we were making routines, I just kind of let the other people do all of the work. And I was like, cool, let's do it. Especially with our threes. I feel really comfortable just like throw out a random idea and they can shoot it down and be like, Erik, that's stupid. But if they don't do that and we work on it, we can say, hey, this might be really cool. I think it really makes our routines like really fun to watch because we have all these new ideas.
I guess a flaw would be like not accepting those ideas and just throwing them down right away. But as like I've grown on the team, I've realized that the more willing you are to try, the better things will be in the end.
Especially for me, some of those ideas that they've thrown out have been with like flipping and stuff. And I'm not a great flipper. And I'm still working on getting a back tuck after working on it for like a year and a half. Like a lot of those gymnastic style ideas or like ideas where you're like moving around each other in complex ways were really hard for me and really hard for me to try. And also so it was also really hard for me to explain them because I had a hard time doing them. Eventually, I got to the point where I could communicate those ideas and start doing some of them. And that's where some of our best ideas come from.
So what habit do you guys practice that you believe has had the most impact on your life?
Probably showing up on time. Coach Mike and Carmen Simpson were very strict about showing up on time. Because of that, I learned to be on time like everywhere. So now I'm very time-oriented person because of that. And that's something I've learned because of jump rope and has taken me into like my job, in school, and other places.
So how have you guys equipped someone mentally, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to define that? And how did they take that equipment and use it?
When you're teaching, you don't want to just say, oh, you need to cross bigger or jump higher. I make sure to tell them, hey, your rope is going way too slow. You're going to have to jump really high or turn your rope faster, or it's just not going to work. So you have to explain what's going on and how they can fix it. When I was teaching push-ups, which is a really hard skill to get the first time, I make sure to tell the people I'm teaching to really watch for everything about their form, because it's never what you expect. Because if it was what you expected, then you could have fixed it by now. So I try to teach the people I'm teaching to really look for the minute details and the way you're like pulling the rope, or how far you're holding your hands out when you're going up. I remember one problem was when they were doing a push-up, they were pulling their rope up diagonally instead of straight back. And I don't think they would have ever found that in like the next months of trying push-ups, unless they really just try to slow down and look at their form. So that's just not something you see. So I think really spreading awareness about how you're jump roping and how to really fix tricks you're not getting is really something valuable to teach people.
I taught this young boy at our annual summer camp. It was actually this year, and he is a incoming rookie on our team. So he's our first year jumper. And essentially, over the course of the week, while teaching him different skills like basic skills, side swings, crosses, wraps, all kinds of those, I kind of inspired the creative side of him, and inspired him to make tricks of his own and really explore the sport of jump rope in all the creative ways you can take it.
About a week ago, I met this new person, and basically it was a group of people, and we showed them about jump rope a little bit, and they aren't exactly from the most fortunate area in terms of like awareness of other things and that kind of thing. They've known jump rope as like a thing to do, but never seen it the way that like American jump rope does it and that kind of thing, like with all the different events. We kind of showed him our ropes. We had him jumping in all different kinds of ways, and he was really interested about it. And one of the things that he said was, "You guys ever get bullied for doing jump rope as a guy?" And that touched home to me, because a little bit it does happen, but it always turns the other way once you explain it or show them a video and see the full value of what it is.
How does that happen? People just kind of look down at you for jumping, or how does that play out?
A lot of times they make fun of you. You're like, "Oh, you're a girly guy," or something like that. Or they'll be like, "Oh, you jump rope. Oh, you're a little girl." Yeah.
And then you flex with the back tuck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, literally.
How it goes. Yep. And you show them, and then they're just like, they're amazed.